Hey, what's up? My name's Grant Kanoki. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, and artist, and you're listening to Power 98.5.
We don't play the social game. We are social. Power 98.5.
Hi, this is Dan Aykroyd. He's progressive. He's beautiful. He's thoughtful. He's intelligent. He's powerful. He's positive. He is Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5 Satellite Radio.
Empowering listeners from the US to the UK. Live on air with Stephen Cuoco.
We are starting off Tuesday on the best note that you can ever imagine. Now, everyone's heard about it. We've gotten some great feedback, and I mean really, really good feedback. I want to thank Farah for setting this up. We have, come on now, some of the DMs that I've been receiving and my assistant told me about when we just posted already started rolling in. They were like, Chase what? Chase who? Yes, Chase DeMoor. You know him very, very well this season, and I've been catching up on it. First season was kick-ass. Too Hot to Handle, Netflix, season 2. But yet what's even more, I'm going to say profound is, Chase, you are a professional football player, and this is what everybody knows you by. But now you're recognized all over the world on Too Hot to Handle on Netflix season 2.
Yeah, it's incredible, man. Like, you wake up one day and your whole life's about, what time's the workouts? What are we eating today? Where can I get my recovery? And then you go to sleep and you wake up the next day. It's like, okay, what picture is he posting with what girl? So it's been a whirlwind, man. It's unreal, unbelievable. And I can't be more excited about it.
You're 24. You started in football when you were 14. Did you ever think at 14 you not only would be recognized in the world of sports, but now in television? But I mean, it's even bigger. I mean, your career is like, woo.
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember, so I lost my dad when I was 10 years old. And I remember, we always had this dream of, being like successful and taking care of the family at whatever it costs. And, even when I was 14, just starting football, I always had this idea of myself to, be somebody, do something that could impact and leave a lasting impact. And, obviously, when I was 14, I was a really big kid, really chubby, didn't really know what I was doing, didn't know how I was going to go about life, had no direction. And, I was getting in trouble in school a lot because, I was a lost kid. And then, I started, meeting the right people, hanging around the right crowd. And then, obviously with football, continuing to play that, it bettered me in school. It bettered me in the community. I just started working extremely hard. And eventually, I got to a point where it's okay, so my decision now is I could continue to play football. I could do what everybody else in my small community does and just go straight into the workforce. And so, blessed with the opportunity to go to college on a full ride scholarship, pay $0 for college and, fast forward, a couple of years and then, get an opportunity because of, TikTok and an app to, provide me an opportunity to go on Netflix and become this international superstar basically overnight. And it's amazing how much stuff happens between, then and now, if that makes sense. So
when you had lost your father and growing up, you and your mother became really, really close. And did you feel like you needed to be the man of the house at a young age? What was going through your mind, leading up to later in your teenage years?
Yeah, after my pops passed away, I do have an older brother that I don't really talk a lot about because, he was more of we're polar opposites essentially. He's only a year and a half older than me, and he went more down the path of always leaving the house, always getting in trouble. So I was there. It was me, my brother, and my little sister, and I was always just stuck looking after them. And obviously my mom had a really hard time. She went through the whole dating phase. She had a really abusive husband at the time, and I wasn't a very big kid, so it's there wasn't much I could do other than, just have like this stubborn attitude about myself that I don't care like what it's going to take. I don't care like how hard it's going to be, what trial, what tribulation, what obstacle I'm going to face. Like I'm going to, my pops used to tell me, keep playing. That's why I told myself I'm just going to keep playing and we're going to, win this thing and we're going to, come out on top. And, obviously in between that, is just it was tough, especially going off to college and having to leave my mom alone. She had to pack up from Seattle, Washington, and move across the country all by herself. And I felt really bad about it because it's like, well, I want to be there with her, I want to help them, but at the same time, the only way I can help them is like they're gonna have to let me go away, let me handle business, let me take care of it, and then eventually at the end of this thing, I want to bring it back to them full circle. So.
And you had studied in school for relationship therapy. How did that play a key role? Like what led up to you studying this?
Yeah, it's crazy. So I had never had a girlfriend in high school. I never really even talked to that girls until honestly my second year of college, to be honest with you. And going into school, I was like, I don't know what my major is going to be. Like, I think I want to be a cop, but everybody tells me, if you want to, be a cop, that's all great and stuff, but get a degree in something just in case you don't want to do that. And, I was sitting there thinking what is something that I could do to help other people? And, a big part of that was I think relationship therapy, especially in today's generation, it's so manipulated by social media. And I feel like a lot of older people who do it don't really have the same understanding of what it's like or how to deal with it as potentially that I would have. And so I was in school, I really like talking about love languages, body language. I love talking about how the brain works and how it's almost an addictive thing to be attracted to somebody, and it just really interested me. So I kind of ran with that. I toppled that with adolescent development. I'm studying that in school as well because I had full intentions on getting a PhD in this, becoming a doctor, and really leaving an impact on children's counseling, as far as marriage counseling as well, to try to help people in the best possible way that I could, especially if football didn't work out. So
do you find that you utilize those skills still, Chase, to this day with friends or strangers or people that you meet?
Oh, absolutely. It's it's actually really funny because the things that you learn in school, I always I felt like what I would learn in school I would never apply in life. But once I got to college and I was doing things that I could actually understand, that I liked, that I enjoyed, that I could use, I learned so many magnificent traits to talk to people. I learned how to make great eye contact. We talk about looking into the left eye of person because it's the most sensual part of having somebody reciprocate communication. Understanding proper hand movement, facial expressions to really come across as genuine. I understand how to listen to somebody, how to take mental notes, how to make people, feel good about themselves. And, I use that, to my advantage all the time, especially when I was in college. We all have that phase where we want to date everybody. So, I used it a lot, for good and for evil, if that makes sense.
It's emotional intelligence. I have a background in that. So that's what I hear.
Yeah.
And biofeedback.
Yeah, it's all about feedback. And what's crazy about the whole journey, the whole process, a lot of people don't know this about me, but in 2019 I was essentially on my deathbed. I was in the hospital. I thought the doctors thought I wasn't even gonna be alive here very soon because I caught this really rare eating disorder in the middle of college, in the middle of I came out of school. I was in that pro day training, but I was also still taking classes, and I was just overworking my body. And I got this really rare sick eating disorder or condition, disease called achalasia, where essentially my esophagus and nerves in it, died, and I couldn't really, eat or drink or swallow or anything like that. And so I ended up, losing all this weight, at 6'5", I dropped down to almost 100 and, 70 pounds. And, it was a process because it's when you go through stages like that, your body goes through so many shocks. And, this kind of what led me into, wanting to finish my degree, wanting to, pursue football further, and obviously have this social media understanding is when you go through that process, your body starts, shutting down. I remember I would go through chills, I was having vivid delusions of, me talking to my dad and having all these conversations about, I want so much in my life, but I feel like I was letting myself and everybody who believed in me down. And then the people that didn't want to see me make it, I was, just proving them right. And that stubborn fire inside of me really started to like ignite. And I was like, how am I going to, keep playing in this situation? There's nothing I can do. And, fortunately, they found a doctor in Europe who got to fly over. He did like an emergency gastrointestinal surgery on me, or like basically they cut me up and they cut all that stuff out and they make like a bunch of fake sphincters and stuff so that I could eat and drink again. And obviously they're hydrating me up with like the IVs and stuff, but spent quite some time in the hospital that summer, really like evaluating my life, evaluating like what I needed to do. It kind of like brought me back down to earth essentially, and brought me back down to my roots so that I could revisit my vision, re-see like what it is that I wanted to do. So.
And with this, Chase, are you still playing football? Is there any concern while playing sports of someone maybe tackling you or whatever in the area of your surgery?
Yeah, so I remember, one of the first questions I asked the doctor was like, what are the odds that I play football again? And, they would tell me things like, like typically like a normal person, it takes about, 6 to 8 weeks before they could lift anything over, like 15 pounds. I shouldn't carry anything heavier than like a gallon of milk. Really? And like I kind of like smirked a little bit, and I was like, I looked at my girlfriend at the time, I was like, well, good thing I'm not an average person. You know what I mean? So it's like I like the stubbornness. And so what I started doing was, you would wait for the nurse to like leave the office room, and I couldn't really move. Obviously they cut open your abs, and it's like you don't realize how much you use your abs to move until you don't have them anymore. I remember I would have like my girlfriend at the time, she'd like help me out of the bed, and I was like, just let me do a couple laps around the room and I'll get back in bed and stuff. And it used to kill me. Like it was the most excruciating pain that you could think of. And obviously you have like all these meds and stuff that they give you to like, numb the pain. And I was like, starting to spit the meds out because I was like, I want to feel this. I want to understand it so that I can move on from it. And like, that's the only way I feel like I personally can heal is if I really feel this. And, like I felt the pain a little bit, and, eventually, I started getting a little bit more dangerous and was trying to walk down the hall, walk back and do a couple laps. And, I got to the point where, I got caught one day by the nurse. I was downstairs in the lunchroom trying to get some soup, and it was like quite a ways away. So it was like probably like a 10, 15-minute walk. I was like so exhausted by the time I got there. And all I hear is them freaking out, paging me on the intercom. Like, we got to find this kid, blah, blah, blah. Well, anyways, they got me back to the room, and I was sitting there, and the nurse was like, you can't do this. Like, you need to rest. You need to recover. And I was just like, oh, yeah, no, I'm really sorry. I don't know what I was thinking, and blah, blah, blah. And, basically I made good friends with her to the point where it was like, she was like, okay, like, we're trying to get you released so that you can go home. We get it. You don't need to be here for 6 weeks anymore. And I was like, oh, perfect. And she's like, okay, so like, we got your release papers, but you have to make me a promise that you're not going to work out when you go home. I was like, oh yeah, you have my word. I promise. And like, as soon as I left the hospital, I told my girl, I was like, yeah, just take me to the gym. So I was in the gym. I was just, it started off with just like the bands and the bar, like no weight, just to like get back into the movement. It was like really heavy for me, really hard, but like it was good because like I was able to like, recover faster. I really, started impacting my body. Like, like I'm going to be able to play football again. Like, that's what I would tell myself over and over again. Like, I'm going to play. And like, throughout that process, I never announced it to the league at the time. And so like, I checked out of the hospital in like August, started training August and September. At the time was when like the Canadian NFL, the CFL is like a lot of people refer to it, provided me with a contract to go play for the Montreal Alouettes. Montreal Alouettes had no idea that I was even sick. Like, they expected me to show up to training camp, a 260-pound defensive end. I'm sitting here at like, 180 pounds looking like a wide receiver, can't even lift 100 pounds. But, in my head, I was like, okay, now I'm on a clock. Now it's ticking. So now I got to, go faster. So obviously I sped up the process of, eating more food by the day, lifting more weight, so on and so forth. And, by December, I would say I was like a good, like 85, 90% ready to go. So it all actually worked out, in my favor, and it bettered me because of it.
Talk about resiliency. I mean, damn. It's like,
yeah, it's crazy. Like, and what really changed it was like, I kid you not, man. I was sitting there in the bed, and, like delusional, out of my mind, dehydrated, no food. Like I was basically, up on morphine, essentially, what they use to put you under. I was like talking crazy. And I remember like, I still tell my mom to this day, I was like, I swear to God, like I was talking to my dad and I was telling him, I was like, Pops, like, I feel like I let everybody down. Like, I feel like I did not finish the job. Like I told you, I feel like everybody put their faith in me and I let them down. I left school a little bit early to go to the NFL and it didn't work out right away. And like, I have all this faith in like blowing up on social media and like, I have like 100 followers and I have this idea of this great job, but I'm laying in like a freaking hospital bed right now on sick leave from Starbucks, and it's just like, it's crazy. Like, that was only a year and a half ago. And you full circle that thing, full swing. And it's just like how different life changes in such a short amount of time, just purely based on like understanding that, whether you're up, you're down, like just keep playing.
Do you feel or believe, Chase, that you got a sense of peace with having that conversation with your dad?
Yeah, I firmly believe like it brought me peace because like I said, like I was panicking, like in school, I felt so bad that I was doing all these things, like leaving my mom and my brothers and trying to go do like this whole college thing and not able to like provide them money. Obviously I never asked them for money because they didn't make a lot at the time. And it's just like, I felt like I essentially like walked away from my family and left my mom with like this abusive person and my grandma and my grandfather had passed away like right after my high school graduation. So like they were all really down in the gutter. And I was just like, man, like how easy it would be to just, pack all this up and just go home to them. Because like, like I said, when I got dropped off at college, like I got dropped off, on the other side of the country with $100 in my pocket, a basket of clothes, and a couple Gatorades. And it's just like, well, good luck, Chase. Like now you got to make new friends, new connections. You got to do this all by yourself, and it's gonna be hard, and it's gonna suck, and it's not always gonna be fun. But like the times that you do have fun, you just got to live in the moment. And like I didn't understand that until like I had a conversation with my pops. Like he's like, I get it. It gets hard right now. But like right now, what you need to do is you need to like, get better. You need to recover and you need to get back on that exact same track because you're almost there. You know what I mean? Like you can see the finish line, you're 100 yards away from being able to, accomplish all these things that you want. It's just like, what would you do to stop yourself? And you're 100 yards away. You know what I mean? Like you ran all this way, you went this distance and you're right there. You can see it. Like now you just got to go get it. You can't stop here. And like that brought a sense of calmness, a sense of peace. Like it's not happening right this second, but there is not a person, an entity, an obstacle, anything on this planet or the next that is going to stop me from being able to achieve these dreams and provide for these people.
I truly believe you did have a conversation with your father. I believe that there are many things, Chase, that people cannot explain, but I do believe, and even though you had said you were on morphine, I believe you were at the perfect time, perfect place, but your heart, there's no but, your heart and your spirit and your soul and your intentions were all in alignment. And it just so happened, just like, the way natives, use certain herbs or, things that people do, I believe that there was some type of celestial moment of an alignment. And this with understanding, human intelligence and everything. I believe that we as, energetic people or beings can open up certain dimensions or portals depending on a situation. So I'm going to say to you, I believe, even if someone would say, oh, well, we don't believe his dad was really there. Well, he lives through you. So even major scientists, Chase, top scientists and doctors are still trying to figure out the brain. So I do believe you had a conversation. I believe those words and those words of encouragement are real. You knew they were real. You felt that they were real. And you applied it accordingly. And look where you are at today. And you are at peace.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I said, like it's without that conversation, I don't know, without, experiencing like that sickness, like I firmly believe like, at a certain point, I remember right before I went to the hospital, I was like, okay, like maybe I should just, take this 9 to 5 job and like just go and like make some money for my family and then try to circle back on this thing, in a few years. It was the best decision of my life to absolutely not do that, and like a lot of people look at like that sickness and look at that time, that summer I spent in the hospital, like you lost the summer of your youth. And it's like, I needed that, I needed to remember like where I came from. I needed to remember what it feels like to hurt, to have like, emotional limit. I needed to remember what it's like to have that conversation with my dad. And that it just essentially like reignited the flame. So
I'm super proud of you in a lot of ways. And once again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in live on air with Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5. I want to strongly reference and make a statement to Farrah Curie over there at Ingenuity Live, who the great team. They manage Chase. So we have Chase DeMoor from Too Hot to Handle, Netflix, season 2. If you haven't watched season 2 yet, I encourage you to go back, start in season 1 and, catch up to season 2. Or if you feel like, what, screw it, we don't need to do season 1. We love Chase DeMoor. We want to, we love Nathan and everyone else that we're reading and hearing about the cast, and just start out with season 2. Then you can't go wrong. So big shout out to Farrah Curie. Are you currently with the Houston linemen? Are you doing a spring league, or what's happening with this, Chase?
Yeah, so it's actually a really, really confusing concept, because at the time of the release of the show, my team was in Houston. But so basically what had happened is I took a release from the Canadian NFL, from the Montreal Alouettes back in February, and was a free agent, like just kind of like training. I was hoping to get back in the NFL. And so I got picked up by this indoor football team called the Arizona Rattlers. And I was like, I don't really want to play indoor football. I feel like, I have a good shot to either, go back to the Canadian NFL or, to the actual NFL. And so I went to like one of these workouts for what's called the Spring League. And essentially the Spring League is this NFL developmental minor league, essentially, where, all these ex-NFL and CFL players go and play in to have like a shot at, getting back into the regular NFL. And, it's pretty big now here in the U.S. because, obviously we play on, Fox and Fox Sports and all that. And so essentially what it is it's 8 teams, 4 in the north in Indianapolis and 4 in Houston. And my team is called the Linemen. And we were actually in Indianapolis, and we were like the new add-on team. We're supposed to be like the crappy one, essentially, that they put all the bad players on. And we were just, supposed to get blown out in every game. And we ended up, we lost the first game by a touchdown. But after that, we beat the snot out of everybody, like blew everybody out of the water, and got an opportunity to fly to Houston to play the best team in Houston for the Mega Bowl, which is essentially the Super Bowl of the Spring League, like the championship game. So in the process of when the show came out, I was in Houston with the linemen playing for the championship. So it was very much referenced as the Houston linemen, but it's actually the Indianapolis linemen. So
congratulations. It's an step. I mean, seriously, can it lead to the NFL? Do you believe it can be?
Oh, absolutely. Like our team, my team especially, like I was a starter, I was a captain on the defense, and we were the number 1 offense as well, and we played against the other league's number 1 everything all the way for the championship. But the week prior to that, one team had like 6-7 guys get signed in the NFL, and like still to this day everybody's getting picked up every other day. It's mostly CFL right now because NFL teams are out of the office, but I feel like once training camp for NFL teams start, and guys start getting cut or hurt or whatever it is in the pro sports world, then they start picking from us in the Spring League. And I firmly believe, like as a leader on that team, I'd like to see that entire team go to the NFL, and I firmly believe that entire team can go to the NFL. And I'm just hoping to be one of the guys that gets picked up as well. So
what's next for you in the world of football? Because you're hot on a track right now with Netflix season 2, Too Hot to Handle. How are you balancing the two? Because you still have training, you've got conditioning, you've got a vow you had taken, for yourself, to yourself, Chase, that, you want to take care of your mom, you want to take care of your family. So do you have too much pressure on you now, or do you feel that you can balance all 3 of these attributes, or not attributes, but opportunities: reality TV, football, and family?
Yeah, absolutely. And my mom, she's like, my biggest fan, and she knows. She's like, she never worried about pressure with me because she knows I thrive in it and I love it. And it helps me perform better. And like, yeah, it's a lot of rules. As far as your question, what's next for football is like, I'm hoping to get into the NFL. If the NFL doesn't work out, hopefully the CFL. And then if either one of those do not work out, I already have the indoor contract that I could go back and play, tomorrow if I wanted to. But the USFL is going to be like a league that was around a while ago, back, before it merged with the NFL and all that stuff happened with it. It's coming back next year. So the spring league, the league that I played in this year, all those teams are essentially going to that. It's owned by the same guy. They're all going to that. They're going to start, paying us, a couple $100,000 a year to play in that league. So my team has already communicated with us. If none of us are on NFL teams by the time that rolls around here in 6-7 months, that we're all going to get picked up by our teams respectfully for there. So definitely going to be back on the field within like the next year. Whether it's NFL, CFL, or the USFL. So lucky enough to be blessed to be put in a situation where there's so many pro football leagues. And then in the meantime, I stay on top of my training. My regimen is really simple. Obviously, I'm in Miami right now. I'm working out with, my best friend and one of my former teammates. His name's Fabian. He's a wide receiver. I play defensive line, so he kind of has more upscale, up-pace workouts that I do work out with him as far as that goes. So that keeps me in shape. We hit those, midday. He's actually at one right now, but hit those midday, do the social media stuff in the morning and at evening time, and in the middle of the day is more of like my training time. So my training recovering. So
are you going to continue with reality television? Is there anything after this, or what do you plan on doing?
Absolutely. And, it's crazy. It's like, I am under contract with Netflix. I'm not, they own like my rights essentially. So it's not like I can just go hop on like MTV's The Challenge or anything like that. But what's actually really funny is I've actually been offered opportunities to go on other TV shows. Like, Love Island has reached out to me multiple times. I was actually in the VIP mix to go to that before I was on Too Hot to Handle. So they've obviously invited me back. This year, I've been, reached out by, Bachelor, The Bachelorette. I've been reached out, by The Challenge, and then various other like smaller TV shows. So definitely going to be back in front of the screen on another reality TV here very soon. It just depends if Netflix approves it or not. But after like that year mark, I am back to being able to do whatever TV I would like to do.
So if I can ask, because I know you guys are under an NDA, you have certain things you can disclose and not disclose, but is your year coming up? Like, are you saying like after a year you're a free agent, basically you can go to any network?
Yeah, essentially, like after the last batch of episodes, you have like a year, like 12 months, I believe, where it's like you cannot go on to like another TV show because you're essentially a Netflix employee, or a Netflix actor, or however you want to look at it. You are owned by Netflix. So they don't want, what makes you special, like, if you were on, CBS loves you for you. They don't want you going on Netflix, just like if you're on MTV, they wouldn't want you going on CBS. Just, it's all based on network. And it's just like, I'm a Netflix TV personality, so Netflix just owns my rights, so I just work with Netflix exclusively, and it's perfectly fine. I love Netflix. Netflix treats us all really well, really great, and I would love to continue. I hope they continue to do more reality TV shows for Netflix, and I'd love to be a part of each and every one of those. So.
Oh, you're not going anywhere. Come on, you're going to be at the top of the roster. you are, it.
Yeah, I told him I was like, cast me for Dancing with the Stars. That's the only other one I want to do. And then I'll be back here on Netflix. You can put me on like All American or something.
We're going to go ahead before we get into more great details. Chase DeMoor from Netflix, Too Hot to Handle Season 2 is with us here, live on air with Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5. A big shout out to Farah Curie over there at Ingenuity, who represents Chase, Nathan, and many other cast members from Netflix series. We're going to go ahead, Chase. We're going to play a live clip of Too Hot to Handle Season 2, the trailer. So if you want to just go ahead and take a listen with me, my team's going to put this together, and let's hear what everyone has to say. And I'm going to tell you, I've never watched it. Sometimes I don't do things, Chase, and because I want that experience with you. So this is going to be the first time I'm watching, listening, while everyone here and around the world is listening. Too Hot to Handle Season 2, Netflix trailer. Are you ready?
Let's go.
All right, let's hit it.
Too Hot to Handle is back with a bang.
Welcome to the party!
We've got 10 new super hot sizzling singles.
It's gonna be a sexy summer, man.
Usually what I look for in a guy is just like a one-night hangout.
For those of you who need reminding, there is to be no kissing, no heavy petting, and no sex.
Yo, we are Too Hot to Handle!
This summer, we're turning up the heat.
The purpose of this retreat is to help you gain more emotional connections. I will deduct money if there are meaningless flings.
This is crazy. We're gonna end up broke.
How you say we're fucked in French?
On est dans la merde.
1, 2, in, out.
There's a lot of sexual tension in the villa.
Today we're gonna find your special spot.
They're all guilty. Every last one of them.
I feel like the little devil or an emoji right now.
Oh dear.
Please forgive us, Lana. It was not our faults. We are simply young, attractive individuals.
I'm still trying to learn, trying to progress. I haven't liked someone like this in so long.
That really brought like a lot of emotion that I didn't even know I had. I feel like I haven't felt that.
Oh my God! It's not just about sex. It's way deeper.
If this is what love feels like, I don't ever want to lose it.
Cheers to a deep chat and cheers to
deep penetration.
I'm going to tell you, I loved season 1. I really, really did. This looks super amazing.
Yeah, it was it was once in a lifetime experience. Absolutely incredible. I still to this day cannot believe that I got picked to do that. Like, it's unreal.
If there is one thing, Chase, that you had the opportunity to really learn about yourself and be like, oh my God, I am like super proud of who I am, or whatever it may be, what was that one thing? Or if there was more, because sometimes, you can have several things rolled up in one that could be one thing. What are you most proud of to find out about yourself?
That, honestly, to be honest with you, like, I when I was a kid, like I said, like I went to this school where everybody just kind of did the same thing generation after generation. Like the type of school, it's like, oh, I remember when your mom was here. Oh, your grandma used to work here. Essentially like that. It's like, I think my proudest moment was just showing the kids and showing everybody in that community, worldwide even, that, it's possible. Like sometimes I feel like it's about showing people like it can be done. You don't always have to be born with like a silver spoon or, like anything like that. And I always told myself, like, give me the worst deck of cards, the worst hand you can give me, and like, let me play, let me see what I can do with it. And I think my proudest moment was, essentially, coming out, I was on Women's Health magazine and then trending and just being internationally known, like worldwide as this football player, as this kid from like this small town. And I think at that point it was just like, wow, I really did that, like that's got to be one of my prouder moments of my life. And then obviously, making, a good revenue stream out of this. Like I just, paid my mom's bills off, a couple of days ago. And I tweeted about it. And I remember when I sent her the money, I sat there for a second and she told me no. She's like, it's way too much. And like all this and that. And I kind of like sat there by myself and like I had like a tear shed from my eye, 'cause it's like, wow, I really did that. Like I really did that. And you like money could never pay for a feeling like that. So
I can truly foresee you hosting on ESPN. Like you have an incredible. I can understand, Chase, someone calling you a young man, but I hear a man, okay, within you. And when I have the opportunity in the moments that I have had with listening to you, getting to know you, reading the information your representatives have sent over to me, looking over your Instagram, you have such a strong presence as a Gen Z, and you are going to do many, many transformational things in your future. Seen, unseen, spoken, unspoken. You're like a tower, a cell tower. You know how to send information out. You know how to receive information, but you also know how to translate information for other people and that greater understanding going back to your education. So be prepared. What you're hosting shows, you on ESPN, all the above. You're going to continue to touch people's lives.
Yeah, that's all I can hope for. That's all I want to do. I just want to show people, like, yeah, you have a voice, use it, speak. That's all I want for people.
I want to thank everyone for tuning in live on air with Stephen Quickel on Power 98.5. Chase DeMoor from Too Hot to Handle Season 2. We're going to come now into some golden nuggets we're going to be dropping. First, tell us about your merch and where can we go?
Oh, man, like, I'm super excited to finally announce that I do have the Team Chase merch on the way, dropping on July 23rd, this Friday. Super easy. I have the links in all my social media bios. It's shopchasetheMore.com. Shirts, hoodies, T-shirts, sweat shorts, whatever, hats, all the good stuff. I'm super, super excited to see what I can provide to you guys.
You kind of got a price point offhand at all, what we can look at? I mean,
I actually don't have the prices. I don't set those. I just kind of like design the merch. I design the gear. I kind of like set how it looks like, and I do like all the promo for it. I do the photo shoots. It's all me. But I have a newsletter to sign up. It'll give you like all that information. I'm actually in a contest right now for a giveaway. I'm going to be selecting a handful of people to get some signed gear from me sent to them personally. So very exciting. All you have to do to enter is just drop your email inside the newsletter, shopchasetheMore.com thing, and you're entered to win. So
drop the website one more time again, Chase.
ShopchasetheMore.com. That's ShopChaseTheMoor.com.
Now, podcast. Now you got to go into details about that. Is it just podcasting? Are you looking to go into podcasting, take it into radio? What are the goals here?
Yeah, so I just, very upcoming YouTuber. Love to post YouTube videos, doing really well on there, but I'm going to be tying in a podcast to my YouTube that I'm in the works of setting up. Essentially, my plan is to bring in, social media celebrities, TikTokers, and athletes and talk everything from the sports world to the social media world, since I'm so connected to both of them. Get all the drama, all the details, all of the what's in the now. The podcast hopefully will be set up by next month. Getting that thing cruising is going to be super fun, super exciting, and lots more screen time for me to talk to all the beautiful faces out there. So,
hey, you ever need a guest like me, or sharing any tidbits and insights or whatever it may be, blowing a whistle, being the PR WikiLeaks of the industry, you let me know.
I would love to have you. I would love to have you out there.
Seriously, well, you got my direct private number, so you call me and reach out anytime. Also, do you want to drop, you've got Unruly, you got Celsius. Where do you want to go with this?
Yeah, so I've just, signed a contract with Unruly. If you don't know what Unruly is, it's like the most upscale social media type management. They work directly with like things like OnlyFans. I'm going to be like working with like OnlyFans TV, a lot of behind the scenes of my life, going up on my OnlyFans exclusive pictures, and like just basically my day-to-day life that I can't post on like other social media platforms without, it getting like obviously banned or shut down or something. But Unruly will be directing all of that, setting up photo shoots, setting up, time to, meet with fans, meet and greet, so on and so forth. I'm also in Miami for the week. I will be going to the Celsius VIP event here on Thursday, I believe. We'll be there all day, as well as Rolling Loud Music Festival this weekend. So lots of big things happening this week.
Now with the Unruly, are you going to be like, is the content PG? Is it PG-13? Like what would be going out there?
It's like PG-13. It's not gonna be any rated R content. I hate to disappoint all the beautiful faces out there, but that's not my taste. That's not for me. But it will be a lot of like in-depth, like personal things that a lot of people are gonna have access to, like, special happy birthdays. I'm gonna be talking about, like drama, relationships, things that are going on in my life that I won't talk about on like other social media platforms. So it'll be really great. I'm going to be doing like a lot of live TVs. I'm going to be doing a lot of like talking to people in my DMs that I miss on Instagram or Twitter or any other platform. I'm going to be, obviously there are going to be shirtless pictures on there. So you're welcome, ladies. There will be boxers and all that stuff on there for you guys as well. But I will also be repping my underwear and like all the stuff that I can't show on like other social media platforms. So
isn't that something? Like you're out there, how many, you can't even show your underwear. I mean, how many billboards have we seen since the 1980s, rocking celebrities in their underwear? Like, what's the big fucking deal?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. I'm like, man, like you're young, they're horny, they want to do all these things. I'm like, well, I'm just sitting here in my boxers. I can't post this on TikTok. Like, I'm really sorry.
I honestly don't think, and if no one's told you this, I'm going to tell you this. You have the right reps. You have the right people by your side. I know you're going to do what you want to do, and it is your career and your reputation, Chase. So you are to take the responsibility of making a final decision. But I'm going to tell you, I really believe that you're too sophisticated, you're too smart, and no matter how you look, yes, you look incredible. I do not believe you will be cheapened by what you decide to do. I don't know what other people can do, but I truly believe that no matter what, underwear, shirtless, no matter what it is that you happen to do, you will keep your integrity. And I guarantee you will, because going back to that conversation you had with your father, you will always remember that what you're doing now and how your reputation is paying the bills and how powerful in this position in which you've been granted. I am very confident you're going to be responsible, mature, and sophisticated.
Yeah, I'm going to work my tail off too. You best believe that. I'm too stubborn to just go out quietly. I'm going to work my tail off.
You already are, my friend. Is there any shout outs that you would like to give?
First and foremost, I'd like to thank my mom. I'm just kidding.
No, seriously, thank your mom. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to thank my mom, and like honestly, Katie. I know you guys don't know who Katie is, but I said it in one of like the IGTVs. I accidentally called Chloe from season 1 Katie, but Katie, I want to give her a very special shout out because she reached out and she casted me for Two Out the Handle, and I kind of like blew her off at first. I was like, this is not something I really want to do, and she was really persistent with me. I'm really glad she did because she changed my life. Also, I want to give a big shout out to like my high school, Eatonville High School. You guys, I didn't show you guys a lot of love that I should, but like absolutely, those are my roots. Those are my grounds. I want to show some love there. And then as well as the rest of my amazing Ingenuity live team. They're all amazing. Farah, stays up all night sometimes with my ridiculous questions, always helping me. Mel, Nicole, Jeff, all the guys on the team, like they're absolutely the most unreal group of people. And then obviously Nikki and Tara over there at Unruly. They don't take a lot of male clients on, and so I'm very thankful to be one of the few. So
I'm proud of you. Where is the best social media go to connect with you and be all a part about Chase DeMoor?
Yeah, I'm big on Instagram, at Chase DeMoor. I post, every Monday I do like the whole confessional. So just confess your sins to me, guys. I'm going to start the whole Love Doctor thing here on Thursdays on my stories. I'm talking to people on the lives all the time. I try to respond to as many DMs as I can. People are always shocked that I reply and I follow back. I'm also really big on Twitter, at Chase DeMoor as well. I go on Twitter every day. I like everybody's messages that at me. I'm always retweeting. I'm always talking back to as many people as I can on there as well. And then Snapchat, I post like my day-to-day life on Snapchat. So Snapchat's the only one that's not at Chase DeMoor. Snapchat is at HBK_Chase. It's the only different one. But yeah, all my social media platforms, I try to connect with everybody as much as possible.
Well, I just connected with you like the way everyone else here and around the world should. I just started following you now on Instagram.
Perfect. I'm going to give you that follow back as soon as we're off this phone.
I'm looking forward to it. And Chase, hold the line. I want to thank everyone for tuning in live on air with Stephen Quoco on Power 98.5 with Chase DeMoor, 24-year-old professional football player. You will be catching him in the NFL. If not, then you know what? Someone needs to really give a smackdown to whoever's in charge over there at the NFL for not taking him on. But, yeah, you know, Washington Redskins, Steelers, 49ers, you know, I can pitch you on any Eagles, on any one of those teams. Or what actually would be your go-to team if you could get on there?
Oh, man, I've had dream. I want to play for one of the four corners. So the Seattle Seahawks, obviously that's the home team. I had to work out with them. I'm coming out of college. If not them, I would like to go down to LA, play for the Rams. If not the Rams, then the Dolphins. If not the Dolphins, then up there with the Giants in New York. So I'd like to, one of the four corners of the United States, I'd like to be over there on one of those premier teams.
Incredible. So I was all the way to the right and you went all the way to the left.
I'm a West Guy Coast by nature. I'm sorry.
It's all right. But hey, listen, if someone's going to give you a great contract with a bunch of zeros, I'm sure you're going to make an exception.
whoever is lucky enough.
Lucky and smart enough. Exactly. Chase, any other final thoughts? Anything else you want to include that we may not have covered? Any event? Anything else you want to drop?
No, I think that's a lot. I got a lot going on right now. I'm super thankful for you having me on, and I hope to talk to you real soon.
I appreciate that. Chase, hold the line. I want to thank my team. Thank everyone for tuning in today. Drop any questions or comments you have in the DMs on the Power 98.5 Instagram. Send an email, whatever it may be. You know, give us any thoughts. We will be having Chase back on again. We will be having Nathan from Too Hot to Handle Season 2 coming up very, very soon. And I'm looking forward to you, Chase, keeping me abreast of what's going on. I definitely want to attend an event, come on down, pop some bottles, bring my cameras, and, let's make it a VIP Oscars moment.
Let's do it. I'm down. I'm happy to have you.
Tune in. Let's see, today's Tuesday. We are going to air this Wednesday and Thursday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Chase DeMoor, live on air with Stephen Quoco on Power 98.5.
Socials and let's connect.